Hello everyone, welcome to Venom Guidance. I'm Anuja Sharma. I'll be starting a video series on regulation of gene expression in prokaryotes, and this is the first video of the series. In this video, we'll talk about the basics of regulation of gene expression in prokaryotes.
Subscribe to Venom Guidance and press the bell icon for getting latest updates.
The gene expression in prokaryotes can be regulated at several different levels like transcription, mRNA processing, mRNA turnover, translation, and post-translation. In this video, we'll only talk about the gene regulation at transcription level. Now, there are two general categories of regulation of transcription. The first one is when the gene expression is turned on or turned off in response to environmental changes. For example, in the presence of inducer, gene expression is turned on, or in the presence of repressor, gene expression is turned off. The second mechanism involves the sequential expression of genes in response to some event. This event triggers the expression of one set of genes. Now, the product or products of one or more of these genes can function in two ways. They can either turn off the transcription of first set of genes or turn on the transcription of a second set of genes. Then one or more products of this second set of genes can act by turning on a third set and so on. So the sequential expression of gene is genetically pre-programmed, and an example is viral genes when expressed in a bacterium. Now next we'll discuss the operon system. Now what is an operon? An operon is basically a set of genes which are transcribed by a single promoter. Like it's a segment of DNA containing structural genes, a promoter, an operator gene and a regulatory gene. So it is a functional unit of transcription in prokaryotes like bacteria, viruses and some algae. Now operon model was given by Jacob and Monod when they were studying lac operon in E. coli. Now, operon is made up of four important parts. First one is promoter. Promoter is the binding site for RNA polymerase. When RNA polymerase enzyme binds to the promoter, it initiates transcription of the operon. Second one is operator. The operator is the binding site for repressor molecule. Now, repressor is a regulatory protein, and when it binds to the operator, it turns off the operon. Third one is structural genes, and the fourth is regulatory protein binding site for activator. Now operator is also a regulatory protein binding site, but it's for repressor. For activator, there is a separate regulatory protein binding site. When activator binds to its site, the operon system is turned on. Now if you look at this picture, it has the components of operon, and just look at the part of the operon. Now it has a promoter, and next to the promoter is operator. See, operator is present between promoter and structural genes, and the regulatory binding site for activator is present to the left of the promoter. It's always present to the left of the promoter, and regulatory binding site for activator, promoter and operator, these three DNA sequences are overlapping. Now if you look at the left side of the picture, you'll see the DNA sequence for regulatory gene. Now regulator gene has its own promoter, and it has its own control mechanism, and it is present somewhere else on the chromosome. Now regulator gene can code for repressor and activator. Now besides activator and repressor, there are other effector molecules which are required for regulation of gene expression. Now these effector molecules are inducer or co-repressor, and the activity of activator and repressor both depends on the presence of effector molecules. Now next we'll discuss the constitutive gene expression. There are certain gene products which are required by living cells at all the times. These are required for the basic cellular functions and maintenance of those cellular functions, like tRNA molecules, rRNA molecules, ribosomal proteins, RNA polymerase subunits. So genes which encodes for these products are expressed at all the time in most of the cells, and these genes are known as constitutive genes, and such kind of expression is known as constitutive gene expression. There are certain genes whose expression is regulated by the presence of a substance in the environment. These kind of genes are known as inducible genes, and if the product of these genes are enzymes, these enzymes are called inducible enzymes. For example, the enzymes involved in catabolic pathways like carbohydrate metabolism are inducible enzymes. Now this whole process of turning on the expression of genes in response to this substance or the inducer is called induction. Next is repressible gene expression. Repressible gene expression is a regulatory mechanism in which the synthesis of enzymes which are involved in a biosynthetic pathway is turned off if the product of that biosynthetic pathway is externally available. Now, these kind of genes whose expression is turned off in this way are called repressible genes, and this whole process is called repression. Example is the enzymes that are components of anabolic pathways, for example, TRP operon. Now, repressible gene expression should never be confused with feedback inhibition. What is feedback inhibition? Feedback inhibition is when the product of a biosynthetic pathway reacts with the enzyme, the first enzyme of the biosynthetic pathway, and that first enzyme becomes inactive. So the biosynthetic pathway is stopped. This feedback inhibition, it has nothing to do with gene expression. The regulation of gene expression, they can be accomplished by both positive control mechanism and negative control mechanism. Now, both these mechanisms, they involve the participation of a regulator gene. And what is a regulator gene? A gene which encodes products that regulate the expression of other genes. Now, in positive control mechanism, the product of the regulator gene is required to turn on the expression of structural genes. And in negative control mechanism, the product of the regulator gene is required to turn off the expression of the structural genes. In positive control, the regulatory gene product is activator, and in negative control mechanism, the regulatory gene product is repressor. See, the presence of activator does not mean that the gene expression will always be turned on, or the presence of repressor does not mean that the gene expression will always be turned off, because this depends on whether the operon is inducible or repressible. Now, what happens in positive control, if the activator is in active form, it binds to the regulator protein binding site and turn on the operon or expression of structural genes. But the binding capability of this activator is dependent on the presence of small effector molecules, which can be inducer or co-repressor. We'll see in the next slides. The first type of positive control is positive inducible control. Since it's a positive control, activator is involved, and it's an inducible gene expression, and inducer is involved. Now, in the absence of inducer, the activator is inactive and cannot bind to the regulator protein binding site. Now, the binding of activator to the regulator protein binding site is important for stable binding of RNA polymerase to the promoter. Now, when inducer is introduced into the system, the inducer binds to the activator, and when inducer binds to the activator, it causes changes in the three-dimensional structure of the activator, and these conformational changes in the protein structure are called allosteric transitions, and these conformational changes result in alteration of the activity of this activator and their binding capability to the regulator protein binding site. This activator inducer complex can then bind to the binding site, which in turn promotes the binding of RNA polymerase enzyme to the promoter and initiates transcription, and the operon is induced. Now, the other kind of positive control mechanism is positive repressible control. Now, in positive repressible control, the active activator, which is free of co-repressor, can bind to the regulator protein binding site, then RNA polymerase can bind to the promoter, and transcription is initiated. But when co-repressor binds to the activator, it becomes inactive activator co-repressor complex. Now, this complex can no longer bind to the regulator protein binding site, and RNA polymerase cannot bind to the promoter without activator at its binding site. So, the operon is turned off, or the operon is repressed. The next is negative control mechanism. Now, in negative control mechanism, the regulatory gene product is repressor. Now, when repressor is in active form, it binds to the regulator protein binding site, which is operator, and turns off the expression of structural genes. Now, the binding capability of repressor is also dependent on the presence of small effector molecules called inducer or co-repressor. The first negative control mechanism is negative inducible control. Now, since it's a negative control mechanism, a repressor is involved, and it's an inducible gene expression, and inducer is involved. Now, in the absence of inducer, the repressor is active and it binds to the operator. Now, when repressor is bound to the operator, the RNA polymerase cannot bind to the promoter because the DNA sequence of promoter and operator are overlapping. So, when RNA polymerase cannot bind to the promoter, it cannot initiate transcription. Now when the inducer is present, this inducer binds to the active repressor and turns it into a inactive repressor inducer complex. This complex can no longer bind to the regulator protein binding site, which is the operator, and when repressor cannot bind to the operator, RNA polymerase binds to the promoter and initiates transcription, and operon is induced. The next kind of negative control mechanism is negative repressible control mechanism. Now in this, since it's a repressible control mechanism, a co-repressor is involved. Now in the absence of co-repressor, the repressor is inactive and cannot bind to the operator, and since the repressor cannot bind to the operator, RNA polymerase binds to the promoter and initiates transcription. Now when co-repressor binds to the repressor, it becomes active repressor co-repressor complex, and this complex can bind to the operator, which leads to RNA polymerase not binding to the promoter and initiating transcription, so the operon is repressed. So that is all this in this video. We'll talk about lac operon in the next video. If you have any queries or suggestions, you can leave them in the comments. Thank you very much.